everybody, welcome to Yoga for First Responders. I'm Heather, and today we're going to do a little evening flow, just a movement that you can do as you're winding down your day, getting ready for bed, to help release the lower back through the hips, and to start to calm down the body and the mind. So as you feel ready, go ahead and find a comfortable seat on the floor, on a chair, wherever you feel best. And we're going to begin with just a few seated cat and cows. So resting the hands lightly on those legs. Your legs can be crossed, or as an alternative, you can have feet on the floor. Sometimes that's a little better when our hips are tight. So again, either way, listening to the body. So let's find that breath. And on the next breath in, let's sit up nice and tall. Lifting those shoulders all the way up and drawing them down and back. Just try to lift the chest up towards the ceiling and maybe even turn your gaze up towards the ceiling, allowing the shoulders to relax down the back. So nice deep breath in here. And then on the breath out, we're going to round through the back. So we're going to draw the belly in, maybe drop the chin closer to the chest, just allow those shoulders to soften. Taking another full breath here. And then on your next inhale, we're going to start to move with our breath. So as you breathe in, lifting through the chest, dropping the shoulders down and back. And then as you breathe out, rounding through the back. Drawing the belly in, relaxing through those shoulders. And a few breaths, just going forward and back. Always an option to stay and hold in either direction if that feels better, or you can continue to move with that breath. So let's just take 4 more breaths, whether we are holding or moving. Just beginning to notice the breath. Beginning to bring that focus from our day, from the outside world into the body. And our breath is the quickest way to do that. So one more full breath here, inhaling forward and up, and exhaling back and down. Okay, as we come back to center, just relaxing here. So neutral spine, softening through those shoulders. We'll bring that right hand out to the floor, and let's bring that left ear towards the left shoulder. Just lifting the chin up towards the ceiling. Take a moment to pause and notice where you might feel a little stretch, maybe through the side of the neck, the upper shoulder. And you can stay right here, or you can try moving that hand around on the floor. Just with those fingertips, maybe you walk the fingers away from the body or out to one side. And as you do that, just pay attention to where you felt that stretch, and maybe it changes as you move the hand. And then maybe bringing the hand back to the leg, inhaling the head up through center. Pausing right here in the center, just check in with the neck, with the shoulders. And then on the next breath out, maybe we drop the ear over towards the opposite shoulder, reaching the left hand out to the side onto the floor. And again, you can stay and hold right here, bringing awareness to the side of the neck, the upper shoulder, or wherever else your body's speaking to you. And then maybe we start to move that hand around on the floor. Pausing anywhere along the way. If you find a spot that feels a little extra tight, sending a few extra breaths to that area. And then as you feel ready, bringing both hands back to the legs, we'll inhale up nice and tall. And on the exhale, just lowering the chin all the way down to the center of the chest. Again, feel free to slightly round through the back here as you draw the belly in, softening through those shoulders. And maybe we pause right here and bring awareness to the back of the neck, those upper shoulders. We hold a lot of tightness there, so feel free to just let them relax and let go here for a moment. You can even move that chin side to side, maybe across the chest. Or you can stay and hold in center. When you feel ready, on the next breath in, go ahead and sit back up, lifting the gaze back to center. And then we're going to go ahead and make our way around onto all fours. So we're just going to reach these hands forward and gently reach those hips back. Coming back into a gentle child's pose. As always, if child's pose is uncomfortable on the knees or the hips, it's always an option to be up on those knees instead. Just take a moment here, really reaching forward through those fingertips. Maybe the forearms, elbows, even the head are lifted off the mat. We're just extending our child's pose. Drawing back through the hips and forward through those fingertips. Take a nice full deep breath in here. Exhaling it all the way out through the mouth. 2 breaths like that. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Feel those shoulders broaden, and then exhale as those shoulders soften, side out through the mouth. And once more like that, in through the nose, out through the mouth. All right, connecting each one of those fingertips with the mat. We're slowly going to lift the hips, tuck in our toes, and then reach those hips back once again, and then up towards the ceiling, finding your downward dog. Now in your downward dog here, it's a nice extension for the back, for those legs. You can always walk out those heels, just bending one knee towards the floor, and then the other. Feel free to drop those shoulders as you bend the knees, add a little movement, a little twisting through the spine, through those hips. 3 more breaths here, whether you're holding or whether you are moving. Try to keep that connection with those fingertips, especially the pointer fingers and the thumbs, with the mat below it. All right, slowly bringing the heels back to center, the hips back to center, just relaxing both heels towards the floor. On our next breath in, shifting your weight forward to your plank. On the breath out, engaging the belly, lifting those hips up high, downward dog. Inhale, nice and slow, making your way forward, shoulders come right above those wrists. And exhale, lifting those hips up high. And one last time as we inhale forward to our plank. This time we're going to lower to both knees. And then exhale, bending those elbows, coming all the way down to the chest and the belly. Untucking those toes, and as we breathe in, gently lifting the shoulders, the heart off the mat, into your cobra. Taking a nice full breath here. Exhaling all the way out. And then on that next inhale, we're going to lift the shoulders once again, but we're going to slide those arms forward until we come onto the elbows and the forearms. Coming into Sphinx. So palms are still on the floor, fingertips still connected with the mat. And then as we breathe in, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. On the breath out, gently reaching the tailbone back behind you. Inhale, try to reach the chest forward. Exhale, lift the lower belly up away from the floor. On the next breath in, lifting just a tiny bit taller through the crown of the head. And then as we breathe out, maybe you turn that gaze over the left shoulder. Slowly bringing your gaze back to center. And exhaling, looking over that right shoulder. Inhaling back to center, and on the exhale, lowering all the way down. Hands come back underneath those shoulders. We'll inhale back up to those knees, tucking the toes, reaching the hips back, and then inhale all the way up to our downward dog. On that next breath in, let's slowly lift our right leg, reaching it back behind us, and exhale, bending that right knee, drawing it forward, stepping that foot through between the hands, and we'll lower down to the left knee. Again, untucking the left toes, and inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhaling, lowering the hands back down. Inhaling, we're going to step the left foot forward, lifting halfway up as we breathe in, and folding over those legs as we breathe out, keeping a gentle or a soft bend in those knees. Dropping the chin towards the chest here. Maybe we shake the head no, nod it yes. Take a few breaths in your forward fold. And then bringing your head back to center. We're going to step our right foot to the back, lowering down to our right knee, untucking the toes, and inhaling, arms lift up. Exhaling, hands lower back down. Lifting that right knee, stepping the left foot back, lifting those hips, downward dog. Inhaling forward to your plank. Lowering to those knees, and exhale, elbows bend. Slowly lower all the way down to the chest and the belly. Inhaling as we lift into our cobra. Exhaling, lowering back down. Inhale up to those knees, tucking the toes, reaching those hips back, and lifting the hips up high, downward dog. Next breath in, left leg lifts, reaching it back behind you, and then exhaling, bending the left knee, draw it forward, stepping that foot through between those hands, And then we're going to walk that left foot over to the right side of the mat. Lowering the left knee down, then the right knee down, untucking the right toes. Try bringing those hands towards the center of your mat. And just sit up nice and tall here, finding a gentle hip opener. Centering those hips over the mat. Maybe we stay right here and just allow the weight of our upper body to help open through this right hip flexor. Or you can slowly lower down to those forearms, maybe to the forehead. Check in with that left hip, with the right hip. Just kind of notice what you might feel there. Finding that breath. Try to slow down the exhale. We're going to pause here for 5 full breaths. Try breathing in through the nose, maybe out through the nose. You can even find that ujjayi breath, that whisper breath as you exhale. Trying to bring awareness back to the breath if you've lost it. And then on the next inhale, bring those palms back to the mat, slowly walking those hands back up. We'll tuck those right toes underneath, lifting the right knees, lifting the hips, and we'll step that left foot back. Feel free to bring the foot right to the floor, or you can lift that left leg and shake it out a few times. Maybe you bend that knee and circle out the hip. Whatever feels best here. And then bring both feet back to the floor. On that next inhale, let's lift our right leg. Inhale as we reach it back behind, and then exhale, bending that right knee, bringing that foot towards those hands, and then walking over towards the left side. Lowering that right knee down, lowering the left knee down, untucking the toes. And again, just walking those hands back until you can sit up nice and tall. Trying to keep those hips in line with one another as much as possible here. Maybe you stay lifted on those hands, or you can lower down to the forearms. Maybe you create a space for the forehead to rest with your hands or the mat. Try to find your natural breath. Noticing as you pause here, what thoughts tend to come into the mind. Maybe what reactions, if any, our body has when we find stillness. Using that exhale to slow things down for 3 more breaths here. Now when you feel ready, maybe on an inhale, we slowly walk those hands back up. Tucking the left toes, lifting the left knee, lifting both hips, stepping that right foot back to your downward dog. Again, feel free to lift that right leg if you'd like. Shake it out a few times, or you can just lower it right to your mat. Bringing both feet back to the floor. On that next inhale, let's come forward to our plank one last time. On the exhale, lowering all the way or halfway down. And then inhale, lifting the heart in cobra or upward dog. Exhale, slowly making your way back to your downward dog. And then we're going to walk these feet towards those hands, keeping those hips as low as we can, so then we have a seat on our mat, or however you want to get there. Slowly scooting forward towards the front of your mat. Make sure you have some space behind you. Bringing those hands to those knees, and we'll lower all the way down onto the back. Maybe we keep those knees drawn in towards the chest. Feel free to rock side to side a few times. Just rolling out the lower back here. If that's not very comfortable, you can always lower those feet to the floor. Check in, try to find your breath. Check in with the body, notice where you might feel tightening or maybe a release. And then as we bring those knees back to center, let's straighten our left leg out on the floor. And we'll draw that right knee in nice and close. Bring the right knee towards the right shoulder. One full breath in here as we pull it in a little bit closer. And then on the breath relaxing that right hip, and we'll guide that knee over to the left side. Roll it onto the left hip. Let's bring the right arm out to the right side. Maybe the left hand comes to the ribs or the side of the body here. You can try turning your gaze to the right as well if that feels okay on your neck. Taking about 5 breaths here again. Maybe bring awareness underneath that left hand. See if you can feel the body move as you breathe. Each inhale, just taking in fresh oxygen, creating space. And each exhale, just allowing whatever doesn't serve you to let go. And then as you feel ready, maybe on an inhale, we guide that right knee back to center. We'll bring both feet flat to the mat, the knees pointed up, and go ahead and just pause here as that back comes back to center. Bring awareness to the hips, to the lower back. Again, just intentionally checking in with the body and what you might feel, if anything. And then when you are ready, right leg can extend out in front of you. Maybe draw that left knee in towards the shoulder. Just pulling it in nice and close. One more breath in, a little bit closer. And then on the breath out, relaxing through that left hip. We'll cross the knee over towards the right side, rolling onto the right hip here. Left arm can reach out to the side. Maybe the right hand comes to the belly this time, or to the waist, or to the ribs. Turning that gaze to the left. Maybe you close your eyes here, or just find a gentle gaze at one point around you. Maybe this side feels a little tighter, maybe it feels the same. Just finding the breath, allowing the body to just relax into this twist. As you feel ready, guiding that knee back to center. We'll bring both feet back to the mat once more, knees pointing up. And then walking those feet out toward the edges of your mat, so a little wider than those hips, and then just allowing those knees to rest alongside one another. Really letting that lower back completely relax here, not having to hold you up, not having to stretch or twist or anything, just letting it go. And maybe we stay right here for these last couple minutes, or you're always welcome to extend those legs out in front of you. Your arms can be along your sides with your palms facing up to open through the shoulders, or hands can be on the belly, up overhead, really wherever feels most comfortable. Just finding that space that feels right for you tonight to just be able to find some stillness. Remembering that oftentimes this part of class is the hardest part, to just be still, just to watch our thoughts or watch the body. So just be kind, know that it takes practice too, just like everything else. Just giving yourself a moment to just watch where the body goes, where the mind goes. But maybe for tonight, you're welcome to just tune out and just watch your own thoughts, or you can bring your awareness back to the breath. Just following along in this short breath exercise. Again, just to help bring the mind and the body together, to help slow things down, to let go of the day and to come back in to the self. So just try to find your natural breath. Feeling the breath as it moves in and out of the body gently letting go, sinking a little deeper into the mat with each breath out. And then maybe on the next breath in, just slowly counting. No Notice how long it takes you to fully breathe in. And then on the breath out, again, just counting how long it takes the body to fully breathe the air back out. Continuing to count those breaths. Slowly making the inhale the same length as the exhale if possible. And see over the next few breaths if you can bring those counts to 4. So inhaling to the count of 4 and exhaling to the count of 4. Knowing that if at any point counting the breath becomes overwhelming, you always have the option to stop counting, just come back to your natural breath, or come out of it altogether. A few more breaths like that, breathing into the count of 4 and out to the count of 4. And then maybe for the next few breaths, after you breathe into the count of 4, just try to find a pause for 2 counts, and then breathe out to the count of 4. And again, into the count of 4, find a little pause at the top of the inhale, and then exhale to the count of 4. Again, if you find a different number that feels more comfortable for you, feel free to use that. And then one more thing to try here. And as you breathe into the count of 4, you find that pause for a count or 2. And then try breathing out to the count of 6. Making that exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. Let's take 3 more breaths like that. Into the count of 4, pause for 2, and out to the count of 6. When you feel ready, feel free to let go of that counting. Just breathe naturally. And just notice where the mind is. Notice the body. Maybe start to bring a little bit more movement into the body. Maybe you should start with the fingers and the toes. Or you can roll out the wrists and the ankles. And then slowly reaching those arms up overhead. Just take a gentle stretch from fingertip to toe. Bring a little more awareness into the body, into some movement. Drawing those knees into your chest, feel free to wrap the arms around the legs. Maybe you roll over onto one side. And then as you feel ready, you can help yourself up to a seat, where we will just take 2 more breaths together. So as you find your seat, find a nice tall spine, go ahead and finish that next exhale. And on an inhale, let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then a nice cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thank you for joining me in this evening flow. I hope you feel a little more calm, a little more open and relaxed and ready for bed. So can't wait to see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Namaste.